Alright, so this is a little help on 7.5 exercises. This first one looks like, oh man, it's about as straightforward as it gets. You're using a while loop to go through an array list and search for a certain number. So we're going to write this under search. It's an array list of doubles. So just remember you have to use your array list methods. And you're basically going to search for this key and return the index of where it is, and on -1 if it's not found. And it said to use a while loop, so we don't want to use a for loop. So we're going to say while we need to make a variable first, right? So let's go with int index. Hey, you're back. Index equals 0. So while index is less than array dot size. So while the index is smaller than the size, remember I used array because it says it right here, we basically want to check for, we want to check if the item in the array is the same as key. So we want to check if key equals the item in your array. So make sure you remember. I'm going to leave that for you to do because this problem isn't that hard. Remember how to access each item of an array. And then down here, outside of your while loop, you need to return -1 if it doesn't work. So it's going to go through here. It'll return the index if it finds it, or return a -1 if it doesn't. There's one more error I left in here that I'm going to see if you can figure out in a while loop. So try that out. See if you can find what error I made or left in my while loop. You'll notice once you try to run it. Alright, so on the second one, you're going to create an array. Now notice it didn't say array list, so be careful when you make this. You're not going to use the constructor for an array list. You're going to make an array, and you got to know what type of items you're storing in it. Oh my goodness. So if you look up here, you can see there's strings. So you can be like, okay, string, array, and then you can name it, does it care what we call this? My team. Right? And then you're going to say string 5, because you're going to make an array of 5 players. Alright? So that's got to be up here first. And then you're going to search, and you're going to add the players you want. So you got to create this this search thing. So it's going to be pretty similar to last time, where it gets an array and you have a player you're searching for. So you're definitely going to need like a while loop or a for loop, right? So why not make a for loop? I don't see why not. But the difference here is you need to remove a player if you've already picked him, because if you look here, you pick Cam Newton, or sorry, Alvin Kamara, then you try to pick him again, and it checks, and you can't. So you're going to search if the players are there, and let's see, I less than, remember this is an array list, so we do need the size method. Okay. Oh, why did I do a comma here? Okay. So in your for loop, make sure you're careful that you take care of if they are there, right? Not only do you want to add them to the array, but you also want to remove them from the available players. Alright, so be careful in that. So it's a two-step process, and if you do that in the wrong order, it's not going to end well for you. So if the player's there, you're going to do one thing, If the player's not, you're going to make sure you, like here, if the player's not available, you're going to say that player's not available, please pick another player. So you want to make sure you respond to them if it is there, saying, great, that player's added to your team. If they're not, then make sure you respond accordingly. You'll also have to, and this is all up here in public static void main, so I think so response if the player is not available. Did I spell that? There we go. Then up here, you'll notice at the top, see how we have a scanner? You're going to have to keep prompting, right? We haven't used a scanner in a while, so you might have to go over here and, scroll down to user input and look at this sort of thing on how you get a string from a user, and then that's what's going to have to be stored as player, right? So each time they ask for, each time you prompt them to enter the player you'd like to add to your team, you have to do two things. One, you have to get the user input and store it, and two, you have to call this search feature. And then after it gets to 5, after your array, not your array list, after your my team array gets to 5, it needs to print out that what's it called? That your team is. So that should be the last thing it does, is print the team. So I think you need to probably put this in a while loop. Yeah, I would do that. I would say while, so it keeps asking, while my team dot length. Remember, I can't spell length, and also remember when you're using an array, you have to use length. When you use a list, you have to use size of the method. So in here, I want to keep asking them while my team length is less than 5. And then you're going to do you'll go over here and do the scanner stuff, and you'll ask, enter a player you'd like on your team, and then you'll have to search for that player using the search feature. Yeah, so try that out. Let me put this in here, repeat the scanner question as long until 5, oh, I can't spell until 5 players are chosen, added, because just choosing them isn't good enough. And then afterwards, you want to make sure, after your while loop, you have to print your team is, and then, this part down here. So that should be enough structure if you were stuck on this problem. Try it out, make sure you miss some and get some right, and see how it goes, and then test it. That should get you going. Hopefully you're A-okay on that stuff. And then take a look at the free response question here. For card collector, this is an old one from the AP test. So should definitely be able to give this a whirl. Yeah, this is one we should be able to do now. All right. I will talk to you later, folks, and good luck on this. Good times.